gorgeous. Akanyatsogerwa Dino kai. Anditi akagerwa Dino yatakakura tichibona Rebecca Malope. I'm sure people have. Isn't it even told you like Rebecca Malope?
One was into those ones.
Anditi ka. Duze pamundisaka uchitogerwa Dino yoyi. Wazviona kuti vakafanana naye, and you've got the smile and the energy. Yeah. What? So that's our guest today. If you know Rebecca Malope, she looks exactly like Rebecca at 19. She's much quieter though. When she walked in, I tell you, she's got a very calm and stoic presence about her personality. Well, I'm about to tell you what this particular young lady is doing here. As we are rounding off Women's Month, we've been taking our time who again are passionate about what they're doing. This one is very passionate about storytelling, and she uses different media to get around that. I was also telling you, did you know that we were celebrating World Storytelling Day? Yeah, it's actually a global thing that happens every single year. And we also want to talk about that. It was 6 days ago, so almost a week ago. So it must have been on Thursday-ish, where really we were celebrating oral storytelling. If you remember, Audrey last week was sharing with us how, somebody said, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. And for many years, I also hated that. But you know why we've never needed to read? Is because we were great at oral storytelling. We were great at painting pictures. We didn't need to be able to put in a book. We didn't need to be able to write. We were still capturing important narratives of who we were. And so, oral storytelling is celebrated every year on March 20. Many ways is it celebrated around the world. So I'm quite excited this year that I have somebody who also loves telling stories in a different way. She's also an aspiring director in her own right. We'll get to that, aspiring director, and we'll get into that. But firstly, stop motion animation. Emmanueline Shava, 19-year-old girl from April. Emmanueline, wamukase tofara chazuri pano. How does a 19-year-old girl learn about stop motion animation?
Stop motion animation art storytelling unenge uchishandisa pictures to build up a story. So you can create a film through photos, through pictures, and then you bring it together and then you create a film. That's stop motion animation.
And unozoti vazhinji vedu tatisina kumbofunga kuti vese vatofara kuona vana Toy Story nana inini yanogara achitaura inonzi chiya Wally, that little Wally, what was he called, Nijo Wally, the little machine that Wally, it's just evaded my mind. I say it was a machine that was left on Earth because Earth had become so dirty and there were no more plants. So human beings were then put out in a spaceship out there, and Wally's job every day was to go around trying to find a plant to see if we could still produce oxygen. Everybody knows this film, but please help me figure out what it's called, Nijo, but it's just escaped my mind. It was one of the very first big, it's called Wally, isn't it? Okay, it's called Wally. We didn't realize for you to be able to tell stories in animation, you do it frame by frame. Where Wally asumze roko, you have to do a single frame showing hand motion before the hand is stretched out.
Yeah, this is what we do.
What?
Yeah.
That's a lot of images. Yeah. So how did Emmanueline, loving theater, discover stop motion animation?
Oh, well, I do believe storytelling is storytelling. Whether you're using theater, you're using screening, you're using what. And I was like, how these guys are making films. Yeah, it's hard, but what if I could try it? And I was like, I need to try it, and then I just give it a try, and I discover that I can do it.
Ini ndaitofunga ndogona kumbosa Beyonce mufunge ndakatombozvizama naika. But how then did you know where to go? How did you know where you'd be able to learn this art of stop motion animation? Nokuti vazhinji vedu izvezvizvika ukati iri pakati hatombozivi kuti toiwanepi. How did you find your feet so far?
Oh, okay. This is what happened. We did a festival, Mtambo International Theatre Festival, and then I met with the guys from Matamba Film Lab for Women, and I was interested. Like, guys, how are you doing it? And then this is what we do, and I was interested. Like, guys, I need this. And then I wanted to, Matamba Film Lab for Women. And then I go there, and then industry we do my master class. And then pama master class ipapo unodzidziswa kugadzira stop motion animation film. So we do a call, and then kana taita call, we will call you. And then I was waiting, guys, we should and then I was on today, and then patadzidziswa. And now
Wow, so talk to us a little bit more about storytelling. World Storytelling Day, and how, you know, this is a day that's celebrated across the world. Their theme is building bridges. Iriko pamsaka pe zvakasiyana kodei tashandisa kutaura nyaya or telling stories. That's direct translation from English, to be able to foster relationship and build peace. Storytelling is certainly an important part of who we are as a people. I was watching something very interesting on TV, and they were giving, on Instagram actually, an update on the war in Gaza. And they had this Palestinian researcher saying, you know, if you want to destroy a people, destroy their storytellers, because then they will have nothing left. They have no sense of identity. Then it becomes easier to feed them a new narrative, to have them feel lost. In your mind, Emmanueline, in your storytelling, why do you think it's such an important part of what we need today in Zimbabwe?
Even I think storytelling is an important tool to have in the world, because it goes directly to the person. Whether ukuda kuzvinzwa kana kuti usikuda kuzvinzwa, but one way or the other zvichasvika mauri, and then you are going to decide kuti I like this or not. But you plan something chapinda mauri, something chekuti it motivates, sometimes it encourages, sometimes it discourages, sometimes later zvakasiyana kumunhu, it depends on the story. But zvinhu zvakakosha zvekuti zvinobatsira, and it goes far, without beyond limits.
Yeah, right.
Because munhu anoudzwa, like newspaper ranyo, it's a storytelling. Richafamba munhu achaverenga. Movie raiswa richafamba through shades, through my media platforms, and then they are being educated, they are being learning and taught different things through media platforms. So I think it's something which is important. Even my warnings, like, guys, you can use that storytelling to tell the one, be aware something is going to happen.
Yeah. So how are you using storytelling now, especially with this new art form that you have discovered? Are you telling us about your hair? Are you telling us about Mbuya Vako? How are you making this make sense?
Like now I'm doing a project, my 3D VR game. So in this game we are more talking about the climate change, drought, and then how people struggles from there to escape that desert or whatever situation, hard situation.
Emmanueline arikuzvidza kupi zvese zveclimate changes? At 19 years old, muzviwanepi zvese izvi?
It's a thing discover, because ndakanyora a story, and then this story is not directly to people. It's about birds. So this bird anogara munzvimbo isina chikafu isina chii, and then antodiscover kuti panapa ndakufa, so I have to fly to a certain land with green pastures and whatever. But it was hard and it was difficult for her to get there. So Emma, the bird is called Emma. So Emma, the bird, tries to go to a fruitful land which is called Forward Ever, and the game is called Forward Ever. So anoenda kuForward Ever. As she goes, anosangana nema-obstacles. Ma-obstacles are ndo akafanana tsunami, what do you call it? Cyclone, drought, heat wave, wildfires, poachers, as she goes.
And this is all in a game?
Yes.
Wow. That you have designed?
Yeah. So now it's a prototype level. I'm trying to develop it, I hope, at the end of this year. Totally level 1.
Right. Level 1, she level 1 in a game racho.
Yeah.
Because my game kazhinji level 1 ukapasa uchenda ku 2, 3, 4, 5 100 whatever.
Yeah, but this year we want to develop level 1.
Wow. Saka, who are you designing this game for? In other words, normally storytelling, you want to communicate with someone, right? There's somebody that you are hoping will hear the story and connect. So for you, the story of climate change that you are building using stop motion animation,
No, it's 3D.
Oh, this is 3. Saka zvakasiyana chinezi.
Zvakasiyana.
3D ndeyo tunopfeka zvimagogorosi zviya zviya. Ndio.
Yes, 3D is a kind of animation, and then VR is the one yekuti unopfeka virtual reality magoggles.
Right.
And then so this game inotamba wakapfeka magoggles.
Magogorosi.
Yeah.
Wekutoti unenge utiriwe Emma wacho na iwewe.
Yes.
Urikutsvasva tuna vanhu vaya vekutanga apfeka zvimagogorosi achitorwisana nezvinhu zvisipo chichimuseka.
So you'll be Emma, wosvika pane wildfire, I don't know kuti uchaita sei kuti ubve ipapo, but pane way yekuti ubve. And then wosvika pane mapoachers, I don't know kuti amatisa sei. And then
Wait. Emmanueline, you're saying you are actually designing a whole virtual reality game iwewe on climate change.
Yes.
Wow, this is very layered. Saka ndiani wari kutarisa kuti achatamba game iyi? Vanhu vakuru vakaita seni here tsikombi hovyo dzakaita sana Kolake here, vana Emmanueline vari 19 kana kuti vana Sizawo vanhu vakuru vana 3 here. Would you expect to be able to play this game?
Oh, actually, this game munofanira kutamba nemunhu wese.
Right.
Because we are all in the same situation, climate change, and all these things are happening kwatiri tese. So at the same time, we are having an entertainment and we are learning. So I just want everyone to learn and having entertainment. Yeah.
Do you think these things are that evocative? In other words, I understand what you're saying, that you hope in, just like as I'm talking to you now and the listeners listening in, there's a part of us that hopes that they are learning something, that they're picking something perhaps that may also change their mindset and behavior. Are you convinced these games, for example, a virtual reality, stop motion animation, are you convinced that somehow the storytelling in them will change their mind or make them think differently about how we take care of the environment?
Yes, I think so, because by the time we'll not pick up my goggles, you'll be Emma, and you'll be feeling like these things take power. So mune to share the same emotion. So I do believe somewhere, somehow in your mind, you have to think, so case of wildfire, muka inofila say, and you'll be like, all right, can I feel so zurikuzo konzeresa chi? Oh, that's why yakutotiza irikuenda kupi. Saka ichashika nguwa ikwe irikuenda. Somewhere, somehow, uno share something. Something related to this story,
Yeah. We're talking this morning to Emmanueline Mashava about how she has found a new sense of passion in being able to storytell using different forms of technology out there, from virtual reality. as far as climate change is concerned. She's also telling us that she's learned how to do stop motion animation, where she tells stories by creating animations using a single frame to build up to many frames that then tell a story. And we're trying to figure out how it is that a 19-year-old girl from Epworth, finds this fulfilling and a sense of passion. And she tells us that she'd attended a festival and she was so fascinated by this, being somebody who loves the creative arts. This hub that we've been talking about, Women's Hub, where they're actually teaching women this kind of technology, whether it's animation, whether it's virtual reality, whether it's coding, whether it's developing software, whether it's being a gamer. And Emmanueline, I was calling you Emma. Emmanueline has found her passion in this kind of storytelling. I'm wondering, Emmanueline, being a girl, I'm sure you've got many experiences there. And I wish I want to put the story in a game, whether it's stop motion or virtual reality. How do you think storytelling can help women specifically? As Women's Month, actions invest in women, advance progress. Women's Month, how are you finding that storytelling can actually help women, if at all?
Well, I don't think storytelling it actually helps women. Mostly they can release stress and tension in themselves through storytelling. Because sometimes I feel like storytelling is a way of releasing whatever inside you, and you share to the world, and then you'll be free. So I think inobatsira zvakanyanya pakuti akataura. Sometimes mumwe munhu anoshare a personal story zvekuti atoshare anotosara atofree asisina that burden. And then someone akwanisi kutaura nemunhu kuti you know what, zvakazoitika kumba kwedu, this and that. So that moment asingakwanisi kutaura, she can write a story. And then, guys, can you do this for me? Can we do this play? And then zvatobuda mahari, and then atomunhu afree, atomunhu avulnerable, akwanisa kuita zvimwe zvinhu.
I like that. Vulnerable. So when we met Master Sue, she was teaching us kuti a game developer, because you're also a game developer, right?
Okay.
You are developing games. You are coming up with the coding that's then necessary for the game to come alive. From the person who comes up with the story. So maybe you just want to be the storyteller, the writer of the story. Kozeta mwacha anoda kuve ari anozogadzisa nekudrowa kuti munhu achanenge akaita sei achimupa hembe nei. Kozeta muvaki who's then putting in the story on paper, the picture you want this person to have into an actual game. For you, Emmanueline, you uri papi panyaya iyi spectrum iyoyi zvinoda kudikamwe papapo?
Okay, in Lini I do set design. I design set kuti guys. This is Chipo. Chipo toda kuti abuda ari muimba. So I design imba yacho. I design through my softwares. Even without my softwares, I can create using some stuff, some materials. Yeah. I can create also, and then I do storyboard writing. Storyboard writing ndo yekugadzira ma frames. Ekuti at this point toda kuburitsa achienda kumba kwavo. And then apa toda kuburitsa aburitsa chipo chaigira gogo wake. Izvozvo ndoita. And then what else?
Saka zvinhu zvinogona nemunhu asina maths paOliver akaita saFulaki here zvinhu izvi. Kuti uzogona kugadzira firimu reseiri unenge wakadzidza chii chaizvo. Taura kuti kwenyu kunoitwa master class. Saka Emmanueline anga akaita chii paA level kuti azogona. Zvine basa iri.
I do believe it as nabasa. Chine basa kuda, the willing. Because where there is a will, there's a way.
Right.
So when you want the thing, not what you want. Because ukangodzidza, unodzidziswa. Kuti Emma, izvi ndo zvatinoita, ndo zvandakaita ini. Ndakangodzidziswa kuti Emma will do this and this and this. I was like, guys, this is hard, I can't do it. And they're like, no, Emma, you can do it. And I believe in myself, and then I make it. So
saka mune muchidzidziswa masabhizi akaita sei mumasterclass? Masvomu, mafomula, algebra, chii chaizvo chaizvo zvinenge zviri mumasterclass izvozvo zveshinzi zvakagozha kudai?
No, mumasterclass pampacho zvine zvisina kugozha, but ipfungwa dzemunhu kuti unenge wangoomerwa nekuti waona. Plus muzimbabwe muno wakadzi vanoita zveanimation tiri washoma, hazvina kuwanda. And then ukasangana nevarume vanenge vachizviita wobva wada kuzviratidza kuti izvi zvakaoma. Unoita animation? No, yakaoma. And I'm like, yakaoma papi? So pfungwa idzodzo dzinogona kukudzosera mumashure. So uku unodzidziswa kunzi kana tichitanga tinoshandisa application inonzi chakati nechakati, tinoshandisa kamera yako unoimisa so, wobva waisa zvinhu zvako zvinofanira kunge zvakadai so zvakadai so, ndozvounodzidziswa. Hapana metsi dzinodzidziswapo, hapana chi, but the work yekuti chinhu chibude ndo inodzidziswa.
Right. And saka kuti upedze masterclass inotora nguva yakareba sei?
Masterclass yakanditorera 3 months.
Right.
Kuti ndiipedze. But per 3 months you have to produce something. Kuti uratidza kuti wabata. And I'm sure kuti per 3 months idzodzo unenge waine chawabata, because it's not like unofanira kugona zvese, kuanimata, kudrowa, kubata kamera, kugadzira set yacho, but une zvako zvaunenge uchispecialize unazvo kuti tikapa Emma pakumodela models anogona.
Right.
So une cheunobata.
Unenge uchita nevamwe vanhu araitatu unenge uchita woga, like izvezvi game rakura ari kutarisa kuti kupera kwegore level 1 inenge yapera. Unenge uchita woga here, uchita zvose, kana kuti unotova neteam? Unoziva panopera firimu paya paya tinoona masi akarebenuka kudai vanhu vese vanga vari mufirimu imomo kuti izonzi Fast and Furious 57. Kwako kunenge mune vanhu vakawandavo here vanenge varimo muchiita?
Yes, ndiri kubatsirwa nemunhu anonzi Charles from Kenya.
Right.
And then
matova kuKenya kwese uko?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so Charles anoita zveanimation ari kuBlack Lion. Yeah. And then there's this guy anonzi Innocent. I forgot his name. But he's the one who is helping me, and the other guy anonzi Eugene. So these things zvinoda mafans, and then Matamba Fingless Women iri kutibatsira kutsvaga mafans kuti develop a game. So those people vandataura ndo instructors ari kundibatsira.
Right.
And then mafunders ari under Matamba Fingless Women.
Ndikuza kunga kuti muno muZimbabwe kune kumwe here kwekuti munhu ungatodzidza iyoyo virtual reality game development. Ndikuona kunge Matamba Women's Lab ndo yega iri kuzviita tonight.
Yeah, I think so, because andambozvinzwa. But the animation ndo zviripo, but zvine games
Hausati masangana nazvo. Saka kana wapedza, what's next? Can you actually build a career path out of this? Ndikubvunzira nekuti vanga vamama nadhedhi vekuti uda kuvaudza kuti aini ndahwa Emmanuelina achitaura kuti ndoda kuita zvekudrowa, because there are many young people and old people as well, as you've seen at the lab, who say this is what I would love to do, storytell or develop a game, whatever they want to do, whatever the outcomes are.
After.
Hey, thank you, Nijo. What will you do after you've completed the 3 months? Zvine future here, pange muno muZimbabwe. Uchaindepi wabva kuMatamba Women's Lab?
Yes, zvine future, because in art we create work. So zvetinoita inini zvandoita personally, ndinonyora mastories, ndo-apply kumacourse anoitwa nematheaters, maplays iyayo. Mamwe anotengwa, mamwe anobhadharwa. Kune vamwe vanoita mamovha avo vanotenga maplays yayo, wobhadhara imari yaunenge waita. And then ku-animation, paunenge uchitoita, you'll be getting paid. as you develop your pen.
Mhm.
So what else ndinotipa mari? Okay, ndinoenda kumaplays, matheatre plays, ndowana mari. And then ndinoita mamovie sometimes, ndoita mari. So zvinhu zvekuti if you are willing and you have to push, because in Zimbabwe some they are saying hey hazvina mari, hey what yeah hazvina mari, but what are you doing kuti iwe uite mari?
Right.
So inini ndopusha masaidzi ese, kutheatre, kuanimation, ndonyorawo, so ndinonoactawo, so handizoshayi and handizosviki palevel rekuti ndinogara and then ndonzi hazvina mari, hazvina basa. Kunze kwenyika ndiko zvinobhadhara. Yes, zvinobhadhara, asi muno macho what are we doing? What do we have?
Yeah.
Zvekuti tikaitawo something kana play yedu kana game yedu toti tichida kuendesa kunze, unoenda nei? Hamuna mari, but ukuenda nei ikoko? So
yeah, ndozvandakataura kuti muno muZimbabwe tingati hazvina mari here kuti tiri sure mbichana nekuti hasati abata medzi dzacho kuti chigame chika
chinofamba sei,
chakamira sei, chiri kumashure mbichana.
Yeah, I do believe kuti chiri kumashure, hasati akunzwisisa, and then mastandards hatisati anyatsokuita mastandards anodiwa. The extent yekuti tiona kunge tiri kuita zvisizvo or tiri kuita zvinhu zvisina basa, kuti zvine basa.
Wow. It's been interesting catching up with Emmanueline. Saka ike zvino kana tichida kuona basa rako, tichida kudzidza zvakawanda maererano nezvaunoita izvozvi zveanimation nei uri pamasocial here unooneka?
Yeah, mostly ndooneka paFacebook page yakanzi Emmanueline Anesu Mashawa, and then paInstagram handiposte, but ndinawo mahandles acho.
But Instagram kanto inongetsenderana nezvako ka, because Instagram ndeye mapicha nezvemavideo mareel neineka.
Yeah, but ndandimborinayo nayo, so yakahepa
pane akakufarisira.
Pane akandifarisira
veduwe akaita godo tingagoneki ndokuputsa page.
Yeah, saka ndakaborigadzira manje.
Yeah. So are you finding, so far we've met women deliberately who are getting into game development, who are getting into virtual reality and this new creative technology. Vanhurume variko here?
Yeah, vanhurume variko, ndo vakawanda kumagame, and I don't know why. Kuanimation nekuzvimwe zvese izvi vakadzi variko, ndotoshanda navo, but kumagame uku vakadzi handisi kuvaona. Vanongonzi variko, but I think vashoma.
And gaming is such a billion-dollar industry worldwide, eh? It's a big industry out there. I'm wondering kuti muno muZimbabwe chii chingaita kuti tizonyanya kuihwisisa nekuisimudzira chaizvo. Kodi kwamagame akaita sei muno? Uku magetsi futi haanovhinga futi kutamba kumagame. Ndopazvofira ipapo namawa.
Yeah, sometimes magames anonetsa kudevelopa. So mamwe masoftwares zvomutsvara zvokuti magetsi chichi unogona chinhu chako kusvikira uchoshanda wotodevelopa, and then ungochiti chida kurenda kana kuti chida pane zvechuda kungoita kwekupedzisira uko unongofuma mangwana usisina just because magetsi azoenda kana kuti wifi yadzima. But you don't give up. Unotangidza. So pamwe ndo zvinozoita kuti wazhinji vacha
ngatisiyane nazvo izvi, ngatiite zvekubika nekusona zvisinganetsi, zvekuti kana magetsi aenda unongoloka stitch ipapo vachingodzoka ungoti mushina grrrr ipapo. My way. As we go to the news, Emmanueline, can you kindly tell us what's your one piece of advice for somebody who might actually want to do this, and you have to make it quick for us?
Okay, well, I would say if you think about something, go for it and just believe in yourself. You can do it.
That's the voice of Emmanueline Mashawa. Please support our young women who are doing the most in science, technology, engineering, as well as math. And she's a game developer and also passionately pursuing